Might be live. Questionable. Debatable. We'll see here in a sec. We might be live. Testing. Let me see. Let me log on over here. If we're live, welcome everybody. Patrick over here at GhostPicks ATS. Camera's a little blurry here. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. All right. Patrick over here at GhostPicks ATS coming at you live with a free play of the day as well as some insight into next week, Week 13's look-ahead lines. Today, mostly got some talking points on the side. That's something I did add to this live stream. But this is number 2 in the books. If it's rolling, I got to see. I don't even know if it's rolling. One sec. Let's see. All right, yeah, we are back live. All right, so cool. If you can see everything over here, so this is what we're going to be talking about. Some NFL recap, week ahead, Week 13 look-ahead lines. There will be a free play as well as my top teaser for Week 13. NFL teasers went 2-0 in Week 12 and 1-0 in Week 11, and then we did lose on the Ravens in Week 10. So, teasers have been hitting. We'll go ahead and give that to you for free. That'll be a free and premium play, but we'll talk about that here at the end of the video or, somewhere along the line. This is going to be a little bit of a longer video, so if you're sitting down watching it, if not, you can kind of fast forward through to your teams if you're watching this later on. Shoot. I said with no further ado, let's go ahead and get on after it. Let's see. First things first, we'll go to Thanksgiving games. Also, actually, that's the one thing. Before I get going, I got to figure out how to turn on the damn chat. This is an issue. Definitely an issue. All right, so if you're not watching this live, fast forward past this part. I'm trying to figure out how to do the live chat. Second stream, we're still working through some things, and the live chat is most definitely one of those things. Might have to pull that up on YouTube. So if you haven't checked into the last video earlier today, we do have a free play on the Ohio State Duke basketball game tonight. I do have Ohio State plus the 2.5. The whole analysis in the first live stream today. But here, let me check this thing out, see what we're working with. Comments. Jimmy, if you're out there. Yeah, so it says allow all comments, but I don't know about the live stream. That's the question. All right, well, the chat might be down for today, but that's all right. Actually, that's not all right. Let me figure this out. All right, I'll go ahead and talk it through. We'll all figure it out. So, Thanksgiving Day, if this is where you're fast forwarding to, I'll wave you down. This is where we started out fresh. All right, so the early game was the Bears and the Lions, and that was a nightmare if you were on the Bears. In my write-up for that game, I said probably be one of the worst coached games of the year. It would probably come down to the wire where we did like the Bears. Sure as shit, that game came down to the wire, and poor coaching was on display all game long, none more than on the final drive. Coaching, timeout, errors, bad plays, 12 men on the field, out of timeouts. Anything that could go wrong pretty much went wrong on both ends. And where you thought the Chicago Bears were going to have to score a touchdown to ice the game, instead the Detroit Lions used back-to-back timeouts and actually allow the Bears to run the clock all the way down to 0 and kick a game-winning field goal. Don't cover that game. So that's how our week started. But we've been hot, so the write-up was spot on there, so it wasn't too shaken up or anything about that game. Andy Dalton played about as expected. When asked to throw the long ball, he hit Mooney a couple different times. When he was pushing it down the field, he was able to. David Montgomery was pretty bottled up for the most part, which is surprising because his recent success against Detroit is about unmatched. I mean, it's at least 100 yards a game over his past 5, and that was not the case in Detroit. And then you got Jared Goff, who played he started out the game like 18 for 18 or something like that, though it was a lot of checkdowns to DeAndre Swift and TJ Hawkinson, nothing too exciting. he had him in the game. He had made no mistakes, which is crucial. And Jared Goff in a dome versus on the road in foreign places, especially like a place outdoor like Chicago, is night and day. Especially his execution. So, and we saw that right there on display. He had no receivers out there. I think Josh Reynolds, who's been cut by a couple teams, but he's now their new number one. So if you're into DFS or that kind of stuff, Josh Reynolds is actually an interesting name. I love teams that wide receivers on teams that are losing teams. They're going to be playing catch up with DeAndre Swift potentially injured. Josh Reynolds might just be the number one opportunity getter out there in Detroit. So that's a name to keep an eye on, as well as T.J. Hawkinson and Jamal Williams. But those are the obvious ones. Josh Reynolds is a little more out there. Heading into the second game on that day, we had the Cowboys team total over, which was nice. They were getting after it. We also had the Cowboys, though. I've really loved the big play ability of the Cowboys, but at the same time, Anthony Brown had 5 pass interference calls. I thought there was the refs in that game were very, very, very chippy. But all of his were blatant pass interference calls. All you have to do is turn your head, and you stop that. That was like 130 yards of pass interference, something ridiculous, and that was really the difference of the game. You had a big play to Deshaun Jackson, which you kind of account for. But other than that, the Cowboys were able to score, especially late in the fourth quarter. Once they started throwing the ball, you saw Cedric Wilson, Dalton Schultz, these guys. Once again, the Cowboys held back by penalties, so that was the big answer in that game. Raiders stay alive. I think they are now 6-5, which is absolutely huge, especially heading into this week. Not a single team in the AFC West is below 500. We'll talk about those other teams later on. But first, the nightcap of Thanksgiving was the Saints and the Bills. Now, the Saints and the Bills, that one was – we talk about the wrong side. Had the Saints, and I thought what Sean Payton is going to do this Thursday. So he plays against the Dallas Cowboys this Thursday. That's actually one of the look-ahead lines. We will be talking about that game later in the video. But the Saints had the most vanilla game plan I've seen from Sean Payton in a long time. In my write-up, that was one in specific I was completely wrong about, and that happens. I'm a firm believer. I try to predict things to happen, and majority of time when it's right, you gain a sharp edge. But that one was the opposite, and absolutely got blown out. It was a vanilla game plan. I thought he was going to be coming out of his bag, at 500 at home Thanksgiving Day, but nope. It was very vanilla. No Taysom Hill, sat on the sidelines the entire time, but. This upcoming week, Taysom Hill has been taking the first team reps for the New Orleans Saints, so that's a name to keep an eye on. If Tuesday, Wednesday, fantasy football, Taysom Hill's an interesting pickup if you're into that kind of stuff. If you need a quarterback, he's going to get some points on the ground. I'm not saying he's a phenomenal quarterback, but he's got the same upside. He's got a big upside with his ability to get yards on the ground, and Lord knows he's a touchdown monster. He is a stealer of touchdowns from Kamara, and Kamara's looking like he's gonna be back, so that'll be an interesting game. We'll talk about that one later. But then the Bills. So Bills look pretty damn good. The Bills have faced the 32nd toughest strength of schedule. They really have not beaten anybody but the Chiefs. They've looked ugly. They really have. And I don't know if it was more. Stephon Diggs is a tough guard, no doubt about it. But Matt Breida added a nice little change of pace there to the running back that we have not seen out of Buffalo, which was necessary. Gave Josh Allen a little time, used his legs, and that is the one thing against the New Orleans Saints that they have struggled with over the years, and that is a mobile quarterback. So Josh Allen took advantage of that, and that takes care of your Thanksgiving games. If you want to, you can look on the side around all over here. You got all these promos, NFL package. If you want to use the promo code GPP Live at any GhostPicks Patrick package on the website. Let me see. I'm still trying to get this live chat going, so if you don't mind, I'm going to take a little breather and look at a couple things. If anybody has anything, comments. I don't know why the chat is not live, but that is what I am working on. Now, just give me 1 second here. I don't know. Might have to exit out. Jimmy, what do I gotta do? I I got absolutely nothing. All right, so that's something I will be working on. I don't know how. I don't think on the first one I was able to work either, but that one was during the day. I just got a text that it is not working though, so uh, that's not ideal. All right, well, we'll head on into the Sunday games, I guess. Sorry, there is no comments available. If anybody knows how to, you can shoot me an email if you know what you're doing. But if not, let me see. Oh, it's because it's not made for kids. Let me see. Which is not for kids, but I apologize if you are coming in here and just sitting. I do apologize. All right, whatever. I'm gonna forget about it. This is upsetting, but I can't figure out but cannot figure it out at all. So we'll go ahead and jump on into Sunday's games. I'll get the comments on in the future, and we'll be able to chat and talk about some DFS and some things as they go along. But until then, we'll just go ahead and finish off this Week 12 recap, get into some of Week 13 games. So some of the bigger games on Sunday, the Giants beating the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts got hurt in that one. The Giants retiring Michael Strahan's jersey. He was, you could tell that defense was a little bit inspired. You could tell that, their backs were against the wall, and now all of a sudden they're one of those teams right on the outside of the playoff mix, right there with the Washington Football Team. All of a sudden, that 5-6 range in the NFC is you're only a game out of the playoffs. So, really, really pretty crazy. Actually, that's not even the case. Right now, the last seed is the Vikings, and after a loss there, it is wide open. And speaking of the Vikings, so that game there, Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson, I mean, they're playing for now. But you really got to look at the 49ers as a dangerous team. Since everybody's been getting healthy, Debo, that offensive line, George Kittle, that offense has been absolutely humming. Jimmy G is one of the surprise guys. So two of the surprise teams are the Miami Dolphins and the San Francisco 49ers. And both of those are because of unsuspected QB play. They both lead in EPA, all the nerd stats. Jimmy G and Tua have been playing damn good football, almost mistake-free. And people call them game managers, call them what they want, but they've got some athletes on the outside on both of those teams. Waddle didn't do much against Carolina, but get slant route and after the catch, he's tough. You get a athlete out in space against some of these teams, and hey, it's clearly working. Shanahan's in his bag, and the Miami Dolphins as well. So those are two teams I think on the up and up. And then maybe the game of the week. Sunday afternoon, it was the Rams and the Packers with Aaron Rodgers and the COVID toe. Everybody was worried about it. That was not the case for ourselves. So Green Bay was our top pick of the week. Them and the New York Jets were the two top plays on Sunday, both winners. That we gotta love that. But Rodgers, I love fading Rodgers more than anyone in the right situations. But you tell me in the weather in December or late November, you can get Aaron Rodgers at home as a 2-point dog against a warm weather team at that. That's that kind of stuff. I'll take it all day, every day. There's, over time, it might lose once or twice, but over the long stretch, that's going to win, 7 out of 10 times. And I feel good taking Rodgers in that situation. I don't think that his most important play is on the field or anything like that, but more so what he does at the line of scrimmage. You see it time and time again, his ability to decipher defense, break it down, and get into the right formation, right play, even if it's just a run up the middle to A.J. Dillon. If it's not, a pick off to Jalen Ramsey, that's a huge play in some instances. But we saw, all kinds of options. I mean, they put up final score 36 points on the Rams defense. We have faded the Rams every single week. That is actually a team that I want to talk about here for a little bit. So we'll talk about the Rams and a futures play. So I've been fading the Rams week in, week out since they got Von Miller. It's one of those moves, you're trading some good young talent for some old talent, and foreign to your team, so the chemistry isn't there. The linebacker for the Rams, I'm drawing a blank on his name. He went to Denver, but he's a damn good player. Been with the team all year long, and you trade him for Von Miller, who is he's good, but he is not. Doesn't have the chemistry. And right now he's a little bit injured as well, so he's only giving you 20 snaps. He's coming in giving you about half-ass. He's a guy for the playoffs. In each and every write-up for the week, I say that the Rams team is built for a Super Bowl. They're not built to win in Week 12 in Lambeau. Even if it was a big game for the division, that's not how they're built for it. They're not ready yet. Beckham, once he gets his chemistry together with Stafford, that team will be dangerous. So their futures odds continue to drop. They have an easy schedule the rest of the way. It would not surprise me if they reel off 5 straight wins here. And then maybe, week 18, I think they have a tough one. I'm drawing a blank right now. But I know for a fact they do have 5 easy games on the in the future. And very well could reel off an undefeated December against Jacksonville, the Cardinals on the road, the Seahawks, the Vikings, and then the Ravens. They actually, I might take that back a little bit. They do play Jacksonville this week, but then they got the Rams, or the Cardinals, Seahawks, Vikings. That's actually a tough December for the Rams. So that's a team. They better hope they make the playoffs, as a matter of fact. But if they do, everyone will be low on them, and that will be the time to buy, in my opinion. But don't rush to bet the Rams at the counter, because that team is built for the playoffs, not for right now. And, they might get right against Jacksonville, put up 40 points, and everybody thinks they're all right, and they come back the next week against the Arizona Cardinals and get smoked. Keep it in mind. Next biggest game was our Jets versus the Houston Texans. Now, this is the one I want to talk about by far the most, because anytime you got the Jets as your top play of the day, it's never easy betting the Jets, or never easy as them as a top play. I don't like taking the Jets, but sometimes, I'm just kidding, I love taking the Jets, that's probably my kryptonite. But I've been laying off of them for good reason. But this is one of these games. Houston Texans coming off a big win versus the Indianapolis Colts. Completely shocked everybody, or the Tennessee Titans. Completely shocked everybody. And that was when they played perfect. Tyrod Taylor and them, they had a nasty game plan. And we've seen that Tennessee Titans team now struggle on offense 4 weeks running, and that's what we saw, no different. Zach Wilson was that interception was probably one of the more unlucky interceptions of all time. It looked terrible, but Ty Johnson's there. He's looking for a little outlet pass. He turns as soon as he throws it. Looked a lot worse. I was actually listening to it at the time, and it said that they compared it to the butt fumble, and I was immediately kind of just like, what the hell is going on? But it wasn't that bad. They recovered. I said in my write-up for the New York Jets game, they are the worst first-half team just about in the history of the NFL. I've never seen a team worse. Never. It's insane. Wilson's got happy feet back there and just does not know what he's doing. So that was said in the write-up, and said that, look forward and double down, especially if they get in the hole early. So they come back and win that game outright by 7 as a 2.5-point dog. So, love to see that. That was a big one for us. And then we capped off the late night with our 2 teasers, which both hit. And then the Cleveland Browns. And in that game, I said I don't want to talk about it, but I think it needs to be talked about. Baker Mayfield has struggled, and his injuries are piling up. But there's something going on within that front office. I said I was done with the Browns. But at the same time, they play Baltimore again in like 2 weeks after a bye. It's weird scheduling. I'll probably take the Browns again then. That game was probably one of the ugliest games I've ever seen. I've never seen a quarterback throw 4 INTs and cover in recent memory. Never mind a quarterback with like 1 touchdown, 4 INTs. I mean, it was something else. So to lose that one was tough. But they did cover the teaser part. Which is, All right, well, let's see. That's about all for Week 12. Let's get into some Week 13 action. Without spoiling too much of the premium side, we'll go ahead and dive on into a couple plays. Interesting lines. So the Washington football team is going to the Las Vegas Raiders. And this is the one game I want to pick apart as a look-ahead line here today. Everyone and their mothers. I think on Thanksgiving Day, the Cowboys and the Raiders was the most viewed NFL game in I don't know how long. Most viewed television network. It was more than Super Bowl. It was insane the amount of people, and that was Cowboys 4 o'clock TV. It was made there for a reason, so everyone could tune in to watch America's team and America's yada 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 yada. The Raiders give them the business. The Raiders put up 40 points, primetime television. Everybody is able to see that. What's fresh on everybody's minds? The Las Vegas Raiders and I think that the way that the Washington football team won against the Seahawks in such ugly fashion, only by 2 points, that's exactly what your average bettor is going to say. Oh, they only won by 2 against a bad team when they only played. Washington dominated that game. Start to finish, dominated that game. Lockett had 2 long passes, and then they had a garbage time drive at the end of the game after Washington's kicker got hurt. They couldn't ice the game. It was a dominating performance by Washington. I was very impressed, and I don't think anyone is really taking this Washington team too serious. Taylor Heineke is a dog out there. He's a scrappy dude. That is the probably number one. That might be my top play of the week. I can't help but fade the Raiders. It is going to be a big fade. But same as the Jets last week. I didn't say how much I love the Jets. And I did say how much I love the Jets. I came on there and, spoke the truth on that video and said how much I love the Jets. And sure enough, Jets did cover that game. And that ended up being a top-tier play. I don't know if the Washington football team will end up being a top-tier play. But this is a damn good matchup for them. I can't imagine many people in the world are going to be backing them, especially after seeing the Raiders game versus Cowboys. But I said it earlier. How many penalty yards did the Raiders, on 3rd and long on these plays? They were bailed out time and time again. If it was the play in overtime, it's 3rd and 8 in overtime. What do you think they run? It's just the same thing, a deep cross in and up. And Anthony Brown just running out there, just in no man's land. Pass interference pretty much sets him up for the game-winning field goal. They got to run, and that was all she wrote in that one. And the Raiders win in front of just about all of America. So, Washington football team, that will be a guaranteed pick. There's no doubt about that one. Absolutely no doubt about that one. Whether it be the top tier play or not is a different thing. So we shall see about that. Let's see. And then my top teaser of the week. I think that's where we're at over here. Yeah. Week 13 free play. We're going with the Washington football team plus the 2.5 officially. And they will also be in our teaser. So we'll take that right on into it. That's I'm confident. Pretty damn confident. We're going to go ahead and take the Philadelphia Eagles at Pick'em. The spread right now is 6.5 points. We're going to take the Philadelphia Eagles at Pick'em. Taking the Eagles at Pick'em, it's 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 sketchy. It's absolutely sketchy, but I watched that Jets team play. That was one of my top plays. They suck. They're so damn bad. I'm pretty confident in the Eagles to win that game. So we're going to take the Eagles at Pick'em. 2-team, 6-point teaser. 2-team, 6-point teaser. It's minus 120. The Washington football team plus 8.5. And the Philadelphia Eagles Pick'em minus a half point. Not saying take it to the bank. Nothing in sports is for certain. You never know what the hell is going to happen, and that is a given with just about any game you ever watch. You just never know. And then as far as the game of the week, Monday Night Football, New England Patriots at the Buffalo Bills. The look-ahead line is 2.5 on the New England Patriots. Trendy dog. I will not have a single play in that game. Not one. Not one. I will just be watching that game just to enjoy it. I, if you have anything, maybe take, actually, so that will be a premium play only, obviously. So we have the New England Patriots plus 3,300. That's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. All right, so that is the Monday night game. Josh Allen versus Mac Jones, only 2.5. I can't believe that line is only 2.5. I would love to see your comments over there to know what you guys are thinking. But man, a windy, cold game in Buffalo. Line's 2.5. Are the Buffalo Bills for real? Is that New England defense for real? New England defense runs some of the most cover one in football. That means that they are running man-to-man across the line of scrimmage with one safety over the top. It is like clockwork. They make you beat them. With J.C. Jackson, Stephon Diggs is a man-beater. Simply put, he's one of the best off the line of scrimmage. I wish I had the video or the play of him on Thanksgiving. He just hit Trayvon, or who was that? He hit Marcus Lattimore with a little shimmy on his little slant route and was just wide open for a touchdown. I mean, it was absolutely beautiful. He's a man beater, simply put, with and I think Tre'Davious White being out for the Bills could be a big injury as well for the future. But as for this game, the Patriots don't really have one lockdown, one wide receiver for Tre'Davious White to lock down. So how this game will play out is a big question. Buffalo is considered soft, in my opinion. They tried to get a little identity against the New Orleans Saints and show a little bit of toughness, and they talked about it after the game. They wanted to show that they were tough. Are they tough? I don't know. I mean, they were down there in the dome. I think they're a little bit soft. That being said, New England Patriots, they want to beat you up. That's going to be a damn good game. I can't wait to watch that one. I'll stay away from that 100%. That wind. Actually, if you're talking about look-ahead lines, that's one that won't be a premium. Give me that right there. As a matter of fact, under 44.5, that line will drop. And then if it gets to 42 or 41.5, we're going to go back on the other side and take the over. Root for that 2-point middle, whatever, not be too greedy. The weather in Buffalo is looking nasty. Maybe potential snow, high winds. This line will not go above 44, in my opinion. This will not be above 44.5 if you can find 44.5. Wind is one thing that is very predictable. Rain, not so much. But so a windy one Monday night in Buffalo. I'll take the under as a free play as well, just a free lean. Nothing too serious on that one. I do think that line will move. That's called, beating closing line. And then let's close out this video here with some NCAA football. So it is championship week. It starts Friday. We got Western Kentucky at the University of Texas, San Antonio. That will be a pretty damn good game. So it's just in classic college football fashion. Everyone starts talking about UTSA as a team to make the playoff on the outside. They're sitting there at 11-0, rolling over teams with just a terrible schedule, but a whole group of seniors. They got a good running back, good running game. And they come out last week and get slaughtered by the North Texas Green Wave or whatever the hell they are. But give them the business, and sure enough, they are out of here. That should be a decent game. That one is Friday night along with the Pac-12 championship between Oregon and Utah. Now, this is the game I'm probably most excited to see besides Alabama, Georgia. I have no strong opinion in this one. Utah with Cam Rising has been, it's in Vegas under the lights Friday night. I kind of like the over. Let me see what we're working with. This is one thing my model has not dove in too far into these. The over 59.5, that should be right around there. Cam Rising. So when Cam Rising's been the quarterback for Utah, he has like the number 2 QBR in college football. He's been pretty damn prolific. and more so is his legs. His legs and his ability to move that pocket help with the Utah running game. They're one of the best running attacks in the country, and that really eliminates Thibodeau. Thibodeau, whatever his name. He defensive end, top 5 pick in the draft. He's an absolute freak. And nothing more frustrating than a read option or something like that. You're going one way, you think someone has the ball, and whoop, quarterback's going the other way, and you're getting burnt. So that's a big one there. We saw this game 2 weeks ago. I thought this line. It's an interesting line. So 2 weeks ago, these teams played. It was in Utah, but that line was Utah -3.5. We were on the Utes that night. Utes were our top play of the day on that Saturday, and that was a 38-7 winner over the Oregon Ducks. I said that Oregon was soft in Utah under the weather, stopping that run game. That shit's tough. They played 2 weeks later. If this was in Utah, I'd probably be on Utah, but free play, I'm free lean. I might like your Oregon Ducks in that one, but we're going to go ahead and just take the over in the Dome. I think Oregon's offense will have a better understanding of how to defeat that Utah team. It'll be better weather. In Utah it was a little windy, and in Vegas there's going to be no weather, nothing like that. So Oregon's offense should be able to do a decent, put up a decent number of points, especially after what they did to Oregon State there. So we're going to go over 59.5 in that one. A little bit of a free lean there. Nothing too crazy as college football, Lord if you know. But Cam Rising is a phenomenal quarterback, easily one of my favorites. That's one of the guys I wanted to talk about because of, the nerd stuff. I'm all about some nerd stuff. Their EPA when they run the rock is better than anybody in college football. And if you isolate that to just when Cam Rising has been the starting quarterback, it's night and day. They are number one against the running the rock. So whether or not Oregon can score the football, that will be the difference in that game, in my opinion. I think they will be able to get after it. And so 59.5. Then Baylor, Oklahoma State. That'll be the 12 o'clock game on Saturday. Well, I don't want to be getting into too many of them. I'll go ahead and talk about the one free play, the official college football free play that I have on the Iowa Hawkeyes plus 10.5 versus Michigan. Michigan played a pretty damn good game versus Ohio State. They were our top tier play in college football, and that was relatively no sweat from start to finish. They dominated. It had to do with the weather, 100%. Anytime you talk about wind, snow, sleet, and a throwing team with wide receivers that want to jump, high point the ball, that's tough. The wind starts swirling, ball starts spiraling, and next thing you know, you're dropping passes you usually have. You're behind the sticks. And then, Hutchinson, who's maybe the number one pick. If you're talking futures right now, I swear, if you think Michigan wins this game, I would not hesitate to take Aiden Hutchinson to win the Heisman. To hear me out, in a year with no undefeated quarterbacks, if Georgia beats Alabama in the SEC championship, I don't think Bryce Young wins that Heisman Trophy. Aiden Hutchinson at plus 1,500, if they win this game and they go to the playoffs, at plus 1,500, I like that number for him. He's been the leader of that team. You can't name an offensive player on Michigan. I can, but 90% of the people out there they're not one of those teams. They've been a well-coached team with a good offensive line and experienced quarterback who's minimizes turnovers. But with that being said, I'm still taking Iowa plus the 10.5 in that game. Iowa might get the doors beat off them, but I don't think so. Not so fast. Riley Moss is the best cornerback in football, one of the best playmakers. Maybe not at the next level, but right here he's a college playmaker. And that defense has been making plays all year long. Nebraska was giving everybody the business. All year long, Nebraska's been the most pesky team in college football, whether it was Oklahoma, Ohio State, Michigan State, the list goes on. They were scrappy as hell in every single one of them. Didn't pull any of them out, just same as Iowa. But these two teams face off here. This line is inflated because of what Michigan just did to Ohio State. But that was at home against a rookie quarterback in the big house. I think this line is a little bit off. I'd probably say it should be on the flip side, maybe like 7.5, and I would flirt with maybe taking Michigan. But 10.5, too many points. Give me Iowa. I wouldn't be surprised to see this line close at 9.5 and beat that line. So that's your official college football NCAA football championship week free play. Will be the Iowa Hawkeyes. We saw both of those quarterbacks last week for Iowa get in the game. Experience back there. They both know what they're doing. Whether or not they're phenomenal or great is a whole different story. But Michigan, if you can block those two defensive ends, which Iowa has a good defensive line, they like running the ball, controlling the rock. It's a completely different offense than Ohio State. I like Iowa to keep it tight. Plus the 10.5. Good luck. God bless. Grind on. If there's anything else, let me see. What else we got here? This video is brought to you by Manscaped. Maybe. Swap. Trav. Swap app. Use promo code GPP Live to get 20% off of any package. That is at my site. Those are in the comments. If you're seeing this afterwards, all you have to do is click the top comment. And these packages here will be both in the description, the 4-week NFL or the extended weekend, which this week we have 3 top-tier plays going off Thursday through Sunday, only $50. Use the promo code and get an extra 20% off, which would get you be down for 40. Shoot. NFL keeps on trucking. And that is about all she wrote. Quick recap of it all. First things first, Week 12, we came out on top again, ever so slightly, but we will be continuing to grind on to next week, Week 13, where we keep the streak a-rolling. Week 13 look-ahead lines, NFL, the Washington football team, that line I do believe will move, so maybe jump on that one, as well as the Eagles. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Eagles flip across to like 7.5, 8.5, so that's probably going to be one of the heaviest tease games of the week. The Eagles will be, and that wouldn't be surprised to see that line move to 8.5. So go ahead and hop on that one now at Pick'em, a 2-team teaser between the Washington football team and the Philadelphia Eagles. If you have any DFS questions or things you want to talk about, I'll be streaming tomorrow again. I will have comments available at that time. I'm going to figure it the hell out because I don't know what the heck's going on. New to streaming, so appreciate any likes, comments, subscribes. If you have any feedback, honestly, I don't care. If negative, only learn from it. Can't be too bad about my picks, or you hate them, I don't know, whatever. But any positive or negative feedback is appreciated. I'll, learn from it and make these videos better. If only you saw what these videos were about 7 months ago. So we're moving, progressing. Good luck, God bless, grind on, and we are cut. End of stream. Subscribe. Not stopping the stream. I'll have comments. Peace. Nope. Cut.